Hello. Today we are going to have session in the faculty development program on the scenario of commerce and management and economics education after COVID-19. I welcome all the participants who are attending this FDP online. This is a real example that when we are talking about organizing or having an FDP, normally we prefer to gather at a place and then we have experts all across the country who are visiting and coming. We have a lot of interaction happens in such kind of FDPs. I'm very thankful to the KTHM College Nashik and UGC HRDC of Savitribai Phule Pune University for organizing such faculty development program of 10 days. I know that in last almost 3 months, we are participating in various webinars, seminars, faculty development programs, and the web world is flooded with a lot of such training programs. But I think this is not only an FDP, but it has a focus, because as the government has directed all of us to start academic activities which will be started in the coming month, that is August, for second year onwards, and the first year students are likely to join in the month of September 2020. When there was a lockdown in March 23rd for a day, it was new for all of us. And we were excited that, oh, the lockdown has started in India also. But when the corona affected, and by the second week of March, we have sent our students back to their home from the hostels. Colleges were closed. Universities were vacated. Exams were stalled. And we were not aware about what is this corona about and how this corona is going to affect the education sector or the higher education sector. Today, we would like to have a dialogue. I know that it's happening online, but we'll have a dialogue. I'm thinking a lot of questions, being a teacher for so many years in the Savitribai Phule Pune University, how I look at the future of higher education post-corona. So what was before corona, that is the first situation. And then we'll look what will happen, what likely to be happen post-corona. So that is future of higher education. The first thing, in Maharashtra, who is a leader in higher education, students across the globe, across the country, across the state, and across India would like to come and study and have a stamp of Savitribai Phule Pune University on their resume. The reason Pune is being called as the Oxford of East, where we think that a good academic process, a good teaching learning process, and basically a good campus atmosphere helps student to grow as a person. But now what happened? This all system is been paused. You look back and see that we were really worried that we have thousands of students at a time studying in our colleges. How to control them? It's a huge mob, young, vibrant student, maybe the tune of 3,000, 5,000 some point of time. Just remember that what college life gives to the student. When we think about higher education, it's not only the classroom, it's not only lab, it's not only library, but most of the time, the kind of activities which are conducted by the colleges, by the student, through either NSS, by their social clubs, or by the teachers. There are sports activity, there are cultural activity, and there are many activities which happen over a period of time. And all this activity actually create a human being. So it's not an education, it's not a degree which student take away at the end of the period, 3 years or 4 years for a specific degree, but it's a complete lifestyle which student take away. Student who are staying in hostel, their interaction, their mess, there are a lot of events which happen, their birthdays, and so many things. The college is a very live thing where all young minds come together and they learn a lot of things which they take away at the end of the program. So all colleges were very lively. You should find thousands of vehicles, two-wheelers, cycles, and so many other things. There are a lot of vendors who are standing outside selling roses. There are various days, I think January and February, we have a lot of days. Every day there is some celebration in a college. We have gathering, we have sports, we have recreation, we have annual day. So I think this college is like a bouquet of flowers which gives student a real lifestyle, which he goes and enjoys after his education is over. So fond memories it's been created in colleges. You look back and see your own college life, you will find that we don't remember all classes we have attended. We don't remember the examination we have given. We don't remember the practicals we have attended. We don't remember the regular classroom things happen, but we mostly remember our good teachers. We mostly remember certain interaction, and we mostly remember that how we have organized some event, what are the problems, issues, how we have convinced our principals, and so many other things which happens normally in any interactive mode institution. I think that is a takeaway for all of us when we look at the education or higher education pre-corona. So students learning doesn't happen only in a classroom. It mostly happens when students interact with each other. It mostly happens when students participate, organize, they themselves are the part and parcel of an event and they enjoyed such kind of event. I think that is more important. I think that learning, I think we have to really see that post-corona, how we are going to manage all these kind of things in days to come. So there are challenges before all of us that how we are going to handle it. Basically, before going to the discussion that how we are going to handle the post-corona situation, we have to see that there are three things which has happened. The first thing which has happened is normally there is a study happens and at the end of the semester, we have internal evaluation and we have external evaluation. I think our external evaluation has been stalled. Most of the time, there are internal evaluation or concurrent evaluation for some postgraduate program which was about to start or started has been paused and suddenly stalled. So we don't know that what is going to happen to that remaining part of the interaction. The second important thing is, since the exam is not there, the result, we don't know how it's going to be declared. And still we are trying or discussing, we are trying to find out how on a safer side, keeping the 100% safety of the student from the pandemic corona, how we are going to achieve the current academic rigor in the online or blended teaching learning process. We are discussing, we were not aware, we are not used these kind of tools. Work from home was a very fascinating word, only it was used in the IT industry. And now When we have learned that work from home is not that easy, that every day we have to be at home, and there are some issues and challenges where we are at home. So I think we have to look back when we plan for the future of higher education, that how we have handled this situation when we are locked down, we were at home, we were with the family, we were with the children who are studying, we were seeing the children around, and how their psychology, how their emotions, how their knowledge, or how the things happen in this last 60, 70 days or more than that, then we'll be able to see that how the future can be handled for the higher education. The use of technology, the use of PowerPoint, or the use of videos was minimal when we look at the classroom, which happens in the four walls. We are not aware, we are not extensively using. Some teachers were using PowerPoint, but I think video lecturing or something like that were only novel ideas. Some point of time it to happen as a novelty now. But nowadays we have to see the future, that when in near future it is very difficult to meet student in person, to have a discussion and interaction in person. I think the challenge before all of us to see that how we can make this teaching learning process a live process. And that is the challenge. So before Corona, student used to come to college. Before Corona, student used to attend the classes, or may not attend the classes, but his learning was on, interaction with the friends was on, discussion was on, activities were on, library activities were on. Because of the peer pressure, he used to attend classes, lectures, and so many things used to happen. But we are not aware that how this will happen when the student is at home in the future. So that we have to see that this happen, how this is going to happen in the future, in days to come. I think this is all things which is very important for all of us to learn. We know that when we are at home, normally our working style as a teacher, just go back and look that morning we wake up and we prepare and we go to our institute or colleges. Normally the college happens from morning 8 or 9 a.m. to 3 or 4 p.m. or those who are in the postgraduate program teachers. I think the college started around 9 or 10 a.m. and then we are there in the college up to 6 p.m. in the evening. So there is a prescribed timing, 4, 5, 6 hours normally happens. A structured lifeline we live. Normally we come back from our colleges and that is the end of interaction. Unless there is some gathering or some other activities happening in our college, we are least bothered about what happens post that session or post our timing schedule. And then we are busy in preparing for the next day for our teaching learning process for our next. And that is the way we are operating for last so many years. Before we go and see that how the future is going to happen, how the future is look like, and how the future will be for all of us, I would like to share some of the slide before you. My friends, we are discussing here the future of higher education post-corona. This word has now become a very familiar. We talk about post-corona in so many webinars, I think, but we should look at the higher education in the same context. Higher education on crossroad, I have told you that the Indian higher education, the higher education all over the world is in crossroad. Because the reason is a rapidly changing world. You have seen that the world has brought down to the same level by this pandemic corona. There is no rich, no poor. You have 10 cars or you have no car, that doesn't make any difference. That everybody was locked down in a home, irrespective of your capacity, your financial status, your economical status, your the status outside, including the prime ministers and ministers of all states and country. They were brought to one level with this corona. Our world will be now propelled into newer and newer orbits by not just science and technology, but newer political realities and sociological changes. I think we are all seeing that whole world is now fighting for the corona. I think the nature has created something which were expected for to be done. I think pollution is an issue, there are a lot of noise is the issue. There are issues related to the environment, and so many things have been resolved by this one pandemic, Corona. Have you ever seen that nobody has seen this particle called Corona? And I'm wondering that a small particle, a tiny particle, which we cannot see, a nanoparticle, which we cannot see by our naked eyes, it doesn't have a life also, but it can be possibility of multiplying. It's a protein factor. I think, have you seen that? The Corona has not traveled. He is not a flying objective which can travel from one place to another place, but whole world is affected. The reason is human being. We have carried this pandemic to whole world, from China to US to Italy to European Union, and now to the Asian countries. We are seeing that it's only human being, human vehicle, and we have carried this Corona throughout the world. And now we are seeing that it is being affected, except New Zealand, which is an island. I think they will be able to control, because the outside people coming and going will completely stop. I think that was the reason that we have started with this lockdown 1, 2, and 3. And now after 4, I think we have to resume the life in a normal, which is called as new normal. It's not 100% normal, but it's a new normal. So there is an emergence of new opportunity. When I look at all this teaching learning process, I think that teachers who are teaching for 15, 20 years, they're teaching the same subject, same topic, there are new topics they teach the technology also, but their learning or their style of learning or their quality of learning is restricted only to the classroom within that 4 walls. Now, this is an opportunity for all teachers to introspect and see that how they can come out of these 4 walls. Because if I'm teaching in a college or in a university, my knowledge dissemination limited to that 30, 40, or 60 students maximum throughout the year. How good or bad teacher I am, but I think I cannot go and check the reality outside this world. I think this pandemic has given us an opportunity to go and see outside. I can create my videos. I can put my digital footprints on YouTube, on Facebook, or by the way of Zoom. And then I can check that what is the feedback. So I can be a global teacher rather than a teacher in the classroom. I can be the teacher within university. So if I create something using some technology, I think I can become a nice teacher, a renowned teacher. So my horizon are being widened by this pandemic. Earlier, if somebody asked me to give a lecture using Zoom, I would have refused. I said I can travel to Nashik and then give an FDP session. So traveling 10 hours, 4, 5 hours one side, staying one night, overnight, and then giving 1 hour session. Now it is possible. I'm sitting now in my office and just opening my laptop or a tab and then sharing my thoughts process with you. It has become very easy. It has become cost effective also. We do not have to worry. All of you are now at your home, or maybe some of you are at workplace, but not traveling to the single location to attend a meeting. This was a novelty. Video conferencing was a novelty for all of us before pandemic. Now it has become a routine. Every day we attend 3 or 4 sessions, or sometimes we deliver 1 or 2 sessions and participate in various sessions. This is a gift of Corona which is given. So there is a lot of opportunity. We always look to the figures, numbers which come as a Corona positive whenever news channel we open. But I think we should look to the Corona as a positive thing which is going to happen, which has compelled all of us to a newer aspiration and newer lifestyle. So our world faced with the cataclysmic changes because of the pandemic metamorphosis triggered by virus named as Corona. We have not seen this Corona at all. The fact sheets. This Corona, normally things happen in a state or a country or a continent, I think. This Corona is, I think, over 100 years, this has affected the whole world. So the most government around the world have temporarily closed their education institute in an attempt to contain the spread of COVID-19 pandemic. The first thing which is done by all government across the world is closing their education activities. I think the last thing the government will do when they going to reopen the economic activity is opening of schools and colleges. because the number of students who travel to the colleges, they sit together. I think social distancing is next to impossible. College, you must have seen that there are 2 or 3 students sit in the benches. If we are going to reduce this number, it is impossible for any institute or college to manage their classroom, their lab with fewer students. We are not in an international community. We are not in some country where there are 30 or 40 students. India is a country where the population is a large number. So number of students who are going to various colleges and schools or institutions and participating in university fold education is in huge number. So handling that number is an issue post-corona for all of us. Some 1.3 to 1.5 billion students and youth across the planet have affected by the closure of university and colleges. So their education has been just paused, just stalled. And I think we are not sure that when it will be resumed in a normal state. We are talking of online blended education, but still we are just in a trial mode. We are not sure that each and every student across the country, each and every student who is participating in the teaching learning process will be definitely benefited by this online or blended learning mode. We have to see that the kind of technology and tools available with the student are enough to make him available for this process. The nationwide closures impacting over 72% of the world student population. So almost 2/3 of the student population throughout the world is being affected. The college closure carries high social and economic costs to the people across communities. You must have seen an ecosystem of every college. A college is there. There are students who travel from their native place to the college, stay in a hostel. So you have a hostel ecosystem where hundreds and thousands of students stay together for a year, 2 years, or 3 years. So there is a different kind of ecosystem happen. There is a library happen. There are some vendors, there are shops, there are food delivery things happen across the institute. So a lot of issues, every campus indirectly or directly give employment to thousands of people. So I think this all things have been stopped. Students who have taken education loans, now their parents are worried about how to repay this loan, what will happen to that loan. So there are a lot of issues and challenges. There are some supplementary systems which happen, like a canteen is there, or washing is there, or there are vendors are there who supply some material to the institute and colleges. They don't know what is going to happen to their future. So this happened to a lot of communities and students who are coming from the rural area and tribal area. So they have another different issue. So their impact, however, particularly sever most vulnerable and marginalized boys and girls and their families who come from the tribal area or rural area or from the small towns. I think they have a lot of issues and challenges. They have to see that how we can resume their teaching learning process in days to come, resulting in a disruption, already existing disparities within education system, but also their aspect to their lives. Interrupted learning. Education colleges provide essential learning, but college close, the youth are deprived of opportunities for growth and development. I think everybody goes to the college. Most of the students go to the college to find out something they can learn, which can help them to resume back their economic activity. Because most of the students come from the background where they're economically backward, or they see that after this education is over, they will get some or other job for themselves. So I think for them, the learning teaching process, the growth and development is very important. If you observe, most of the students from the rural place or from all over India, they come and join courses in Pune, Nagar and Nashik. They don't come for the education. Most of the students come here, they create their own ecosystem around the college, they learn one course, they complete their post-graduation, and then students get some job in Pune, Nagar, Nashik, Mumbai or nearby area. They want to settle their life in the area where they want to study. So it's not only 3 years or 4 years of education, but the most of the students look for their complete future of their life in the education institute. The student who comes to Nashik or Nagar or to Pune or to Mumbai or New Mumbai, or in metro cities like Delhi, mostly they don't go back to their native town, but they try to get a job somewhere nearby and complete their lifestyle in this area. So that is the way, that is the starting point for them to, now they are back at their hometown, and they are not sure that when physically they will be allowed to come back and join the education activity. The disadvantages are disproportionate for underprivileged learning, who tend to have fewer education opportunities beyond college. Then one more thing is the confusion and stress for teachers when colleges close, especially for unexpectedly an unknown duration. We were not sure that first lockdown after 21 days will be resuming our activity, second lockdown, third and fourth, and taking number every day. Still today, we are not sure that what is going to happen for our future, when we are going to reopen, when we are going to reopen in a fuller context, in a normal mode, maybe in a new normal mode, but at least the student and teacher will be allowed in complete number to come back and join an education activity. So I think this distance mode or this online mode is a newer thing, but I think most of the teachers feel that it is more stressful. So there are a lot of absenteeism happen among the teacher. On the parent side, when I look back and see that every family must have 2 children minimum, 1 or 2 children, I think they are still worried. I think we always still look back for the children who are from a good family member. They have their tabs or computer facility available. Those students in professional courses, they have their own technology savvy material available with them. They have computer at their home. They may have their tablet or a laptop at their home, or they can have a good mobile available to them. But I think for other parents, mostly 50–60% parents, or the student who come from the other social classes to join Pune University, they come from the tribal area or rural area with a less economical background or strong background doesn't available. For them, it's very stressful and painful for them to go to the online mode and it immediately. When college school, for parents, it's very difficult. When you have 2 children, you cannot have 2 tablets. You cannot have 2 mobile numbers. You cannot have that much electricity. You may not have that much bandwidth available. If you have a small home of 2 rooms or 3 rooms, if there are 2 or 3 children are studying, you cannot provide tab to every child. If I'm going to start a class from 9 to 4 or 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, I think it is very difficult for my 2 or 3 children, if they are at one home, how it will happen? Because everybody is at home. Their parents will be at home. The children will be at home. And their 2 or 3, they do not have that much facility. Then again, bandwidth, electricity, charging, recharging, connecting, disconnecting. There are so many issues are happening. It will happen when they're going for online mode. So it is very difficult to practically conduct unless a parent having a separate room for every child may be available to 5–10% student. A separate tab will be available. A separate internet bandwidth will be available, or a Wi-Fi facility will be available, unless we are not going to get a proper kind of interaction with the student. So moving learning from classroom to home at a scale in hurry present enormous challenges, both human and technical. I always wonder that whenever the student is studying at home, how it will happen. Just imagine that we were there last 60–70 days, we have experienced. If a student at my child is studying, something is happening, what is happening? The TV is on. You cannot keep a TV off for 4 to 6 hours. There are elders, there are other siblings are there. So TV is on one side, he is studying on another side. I think there are parents and other children are there around. So the whole family inside a small house and the student is studying, how it's going to happen practically. I'm really wondering that. The second important thing is there may be something cooking happening, some friends are coming, some guests are coming. So student getting a lot of aroma, noises, cereal, and their siblings are also there. So many things getting mixed up. So how is going to focus? I think I'm really wondering that how the student will be able to focus. High economic costs. You know that because of this pandemic, I think people are like to lose their job. those who were working hand to mouth, working on some activities where they used to earn every day by working hard, they may not have their jobs normalize in future. Some of them have lost the job. Some of them lost getting earning. I think daily wages, selling people who are moving from door to door, or small vendors across the road, they have lost their economic activity. And for them, survival is the most important thing. So I think their children may not be allowed to go because the cost of education is a little bit higher. So we have to work out some model where we can accommodate such students who are economically suffered because of the pandemic. There are a lot of wages and maybe have negative impact on the productivity. The parents who are working on the daily wages or they are earning daily, they may ask their children to come to the work and earn something to continue their livelihood. So these all things will going to happen, and this is going to hamper our education system in future. The absence of alternative options, working parents often have to leave their children alone when the college is closed. Safety issue is also there for the girl child or the boy child also. You have to leave them because students normally go to the college and they come back either before or after their parents come back from the work. Student will be at home, and the safety and security issue will also be a concern for their parents. So this can create a dropout race. Now, if you look at the higher education system in India, our gross enrollment ratio is 26% only. So the student who completes their 10+2 education and joins university fold education is only 26%. So there are challenges that this out of this 26%, how many students will be really economically or socially or technologically or family wise will be able to continue their education. We have to see that all these students remain in the teaching learning process and they do not get deprived of higher opportunity for higher education. Mobility of students across districts and states will reduce. We used to get students from all over India. We used to get students from all other states. We used to get students from all other districts. I think students have gone back, and their parent in near future may not allow their wards to come back and join the college. Basically, in the area where there still red zones are there, containment zones are there, the state or the city like Pune and Mumbai has largely affected. The students who are in other districts of the state or other states of the country their parent may not allow their student to come back and join hostels and economic activity. On the other side, most of the colleges have given their hostel for the hospital or the containment area. The colleges are closed. So there are a lot of issues and challenges are there. The hostels are being used for the quarantine purpose by the state administration. And we are also not sure that when it will be completely vacated, sanitized, and available for the student to again resume their hostel activity. So 20 or 30% students who are hostelites, I think their coming back may be delayed, not will be in 2020, but may in 2021. I hope so. We are not still sure because there is no 100% vaccine or solution which is available to the pandemic. It is challenging to ensure that students and youth return and stay college when the college reopen after closure. The parent may not send, student may be in a depressed mode or he may be under stress to come back and join because of this coronavirus. There is especially true of protected closure when economic shock places pressure on youth who need to work for financially distressed family. Some of the students have to find out their livelihood because their parent may not be able to support their education expenses. So I think this challenge has more strategies to postpone the student who used to do the post-graduation after completion of graduation. He may not join an institute in 2021, but he may skip 1 or 2 years so that it becomes a normal and they can continue the higher education. So there are challenges for education institute. Those students get admitted in higher education may not join in near future. Disruption to assessment, the result in stress for students and their families can trigger disagreement. We are also worried that how we are going to evaluate the student, assess the student, and how the teaching learning process will complete. how the result will be out. And all students across the state are worried, across the country are worried that how they'll be evaluated, how the exam process will happen. And I think there is a lot of limitation. Classroom at a remote place will remain as a location as a greater possibilities in days to come. In past few weeks, we have gone from classroom to Zoom, from pedagogy to panagogy, and much has been written about the hastily made transition. I would like to appeal all of you that going to the technology and using the technology is inevitable now. We cannot go back and see that normal, but we have to follow the new normal only. If you go to the Harvard Business School web portal or Harvard Publishing, I think they are coming out a very nice teaching learning process which they have started, because Harvard is famous for conduction of cases. They get a student from all across the world, and their fees are also very high. They have also trained their 125 faculty members. I think that the video is available. I request all of you to go through such videos of all best universities in the world and try to find out that how we can adopt such best practices. So we have to make this transition hassle-free, stress-free for all of us. I will appeal all the teachers who are present today to go and see there are hundreds of tools which are available, where you can create video. If you create video, the size of the video can be also reduced. You can have a voiceover. You can start the artificial voice also. You can create a text, and that text can be converted into a voiceover. You can have presentation. You can merge those. You can create a video, and this is easily available in the free tools. It is available. So you do not have to worry. I think we all have to be tech savvy, not going to any class, but I think you go to the Google. There are a lot of tutors are available. There are a lot of videos are available. There are a lot of free tools are available. I have a whiteboard which is available, which I can add videos, I can add graphics, I can have Excel sheet, I can have audio clips are available. I can show some videos of some expert. So many things I can create easily sitting at home. I know there is some bandwidth is required, but I think all teachers who are in colleges, I think we have sufficient bandwidth available, at least in the college. So try it with that. So how you are going to deliver the classes, there is no standard model, because we don't know that where your students are coming from, what background, what kind of capacity they have. You cannot have a video of 5 GB or 10 GB or 100 GB, but you have to reduce that size minimum so that student can view it on their mobile at the point of time. He can download, or it can be transferred to the WhatsApp media also, where student can view and then come back. So we have to revisit everything which we are doing so far and see that the teaching learning doesn't stop at all. In the process, however, much is being changed. Perhaps never return to whatever we know teaching learning for generations. We will never know that the technology will take over front seat, and whole technology teaching learning process will happen with the use of technology. As we track future trends, we will address both maths and reality in new emerging scenario. Academic schedules have been radically disrupted. I have told that we have to do certain thing in early morning where the bandwidth is good. We may have to do certain thing in the late evening also when the bandwidth is good. In the peak time, in the office time, student and all of us may not get a good bandwidth to deliver. So we have to see that the classes happen in the staggered time. If we have to have interactive session, I think we can accommodate 20-25 students at a point of time. So some student in the early morning, some student in the afternoon session, and some student maybe in a little evening session we need to address. So we have to forgo all this, our mindset of having 9 to 5 or 9 to 11 or some kind of time notion we have in our mind. Whenever student is available, he has his bandwidth available in good numbers. And I think he is free because of his sibling. I think we have to stagger the timing and see that the student get access to education in days to come. Next 1.5 years, we all have to focus in a positive context to handle all this technology, which all over world everybody is doing. So we should not be behind. We always call that Pune University or is the Oxford of East, but I think we must see that the education reaches to everyone in the change scenario also. Most students outside the metro-based middle class have limited computer access, Wi-Fi, and so many other things are there. So we have to see that how students become comfortable. So I think we have still July month to go. We must contact our students who are in second year and third year, barring first year students. Try to map that what kind of facility they have at their home or in nearby area, what kind of bandwidth they have, and we have to see and search the tool. You Google it, you will get to find out how you can reduce the bandwidth use with kind of tools which can be used for the online teaching learning process. Synchronous virtual classes are very stressful for teachers who are not used to work with the technology. Doing it online, because when you are teaching, you cannot continuously teach for 60 minutes. You have to take a pause. Whenever we are teaching in a classroom, we write something on a board. We have some discussions in between. You cannot have a monotonous dialogue throughout the 60 minutes in video mode. Student will get bored. So expert, what they tell that you have to have a 5 to 10 minute session, which can be on video mode. In between, you can have quizzes, discussion, group discussion, again some session. So the whole session should not exceed 30 to 40 minutes. So your 100-minute content, if you present in the right way through digital media, through using animation, pictures, it can be compressed to 30-40 minute session content-wise. So it will be easy for students to do this in a online mode. Otherwise, sitting in the online mode for 4 to 6 hours for you also, it is not possible the way you are conducting classes in the college. And for student also, it is next to impossible to sit in the place at home, because he may be in a bed or in sofa seat, and then something happening is around. So his focus of attention may not be more than half an hour or 40 minutes. So that all things we have to consider when we are planning our future teaching learning process. There are 3 types of teaching learning process which we normally see. First is the self-learning, which must help student for the self-learning. We must give him tools, some material, some website addresses, some video links which are available on YouTube, where student can self-learn. Normally, he comes as a theater. He comes with a blank mind to attend the classes. It should not happen now in online mode. He should come prepared. He should be aware that what kind of things which are going to be taught in today's session. So student come little bit prepared, little bit aware of the topic which is going to be discussed. And in 30-40 minutes, we can have some examples, some discussion, some clearance of his doubts. We can create a window where learning module system, where student can ask his question, and then we can give the solution to the student. So in a short span of time, the learning happen in a larger way, where students themselves are participating in the teaching learning process, rather than be just a spectator sitting and listening at home and just enjoying their life at home. This should not happen. Then we can encourage peer learning. I can teach everything, but that is not necessary also. You can create a small group of students where one expert student can help other student, or our senior student can help the junior student to learn certain subject. Somebody is good at mathematics, somebody is good at physics, somebody is good in accountancy, somebody is good in costing. So student can create a small group or 4 to 6 students, or a smaller whatever available. So in WhatsApp chat or in WhatsApp group or in some other group, they can have their dialogue before they attend the actual classes. So interaction between students is also important. Their language is same, their thought process is same. So it will be very easy for some student to understand from the siblings, from the student who are of same age, rather than directly coming from the teacher. And teacher is there to have solve problems, issues, discuss. That will happen. So that will reduce the timing of our session. Rather than 60 minutes, we'll be able to complete the same topic in half an hour, maximum 40 minutes. So that is more important. So many new learning, new perspective, new trend will emerge as we head to the great unknown. A lot will middle class folk may prefer to delay the return their kids to the school of colleges, because traveling time and all other issues are there. So fewer kids will go to the town, fewer kids go to the overseas to study. There are two types of things will happen. Student used to come from a rural place to the urban place, or urban place to the bigger cities. I think they will not migrate in next 1.5 years. So the colleges who are in rural area, they can strengthen themselves because the student will join in nearby 25-30 kilometers area. Student used to go for a post-graduation outside India will stay back in India and try to see the best institute where they can get the education in India. So that is going to happen in the future. When the education system will resume, I think the physical distancing is the most challenging thing for all of us. What I'm hearing that when you're going to resume the normal college, maybe following the rules, regulation, the new protocols, the social distancing norms, I think first, we do not have any sports in days to come. No handshake. So just imagine that a college used to have 3,000 students, 40 or 50 classes at a time, starting from 8 a.m. and running till 4 or 5 p.m. in the evening. I think you may have to have different things. 1/3 student can come on Monday and Tuesday. The remaining 1/3 can come on Wednesday and Thursday, and remaining 1/3 can come on Fridays and Saturdays. So you have to stagger things. You may have to work in a shift also. Every student may not be necessary for them to come at 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. You have to run the college in shift. So 9 to 12 is a shift, 12 to 3 in another shift, and 3 to 6 is the third shift. So if you have 60 students in a class, 20 students at a time, you have all class types of classes. Because when you have to admit one student inside your campus, you have to sanitize him. He has to go through some sanitization channel. Then you have to check the temperature of the student. Then you have to clean washrooms also. So you have to have less student in corridor, maybe 20 student in a classroom. You cannot have 1,000 students coming at point. So some classes you may start at early, 8 a.m. Some classes you can start at 10 a.m. Some classes you can start at afternoon session. So you have to stagger your timing so that all students are not in the college at one point of time. So for teacher, it is very stressful. For labs, for computer labs, so many things, because after every session, you need to sanitize your washroom, you need to sanitize your corridor, you need to sanitize your classrooms also. And the transition, you have to see the safety. Even if one student get affected, I think the situation will be more worryful for all of us. So I think the enjoyment and fun of campus, euphoria of the campus life will fade away for near future. So you have to see that students become happy. They are not feeling that it is a very dull environment. There is no fun in attending college. So at least they will enjoy something in a classroom. So you can create there are games you can create on Zoom. There are group discussion you can create on Zoom. There are musical events you can create on Zoom. I have heard that so many people are creating musical events also, Antakshari also, and so many things can be, except sports, physical sports which happen in classroom. You can have elocution competition. You can have discussions happen. So you can use technology to make it a new normal for all students to come. That I have told you that colleges in 2 shifts or more, you need social distancing, open with the lesser student in the class. So 20 students. So teacher has to repeat his classroom in 3 times. So 20, 20, 20. Or 20 student in classroom mode, 20 student offline mode, 20 student online mode. So many things you have to make permutation, combination. So next 1.5 hour year, you have to forgo all your systems, timings, and all other things. You have to see that students get higher education in the proper spirit rather than just delivering it online lecture and that's the end of the story. You have to understand their issues and problems and make them participate in this teaching learning process. So facilitating young people in contributing to this new normal, in contributing to this teaching learning process, make them employable, because we have to see that student will only invest, student will only join the college if they think that the education is work of something, just rather than getting a degree at the end of that 3 years period. Teaching will go techie. Zoom means e-learning. To enable remote learning, technology will kick big time. Lot of technology tools are coming now. We have to try everything. I request all teachers, go to everything. Try WebEx, try using Zoom, try using Google Classroom, try using Meet, Google Meet, and so many other tools and technologies are coming. Most of them are free of cost. Use them, try them. There are a lot of value additions are available nowadays. Use everything and see that when you are going to the real online classroom mode in the month of August or September, you are comfortable with the technology. Because a lot of do's and don'ts are important. Remote instruction requires students to have access both capable of computing technology and reliable internet service. You have to see that which technology works in 2G, which works in 3G, and how you can have the reduce, if the speed is reduced, how you can have the recorded video can be shared with the student. So there are a lot of things which you need to learn. Technology in education alone will not be enabled. More student, how you can improve, because without support, how student can participate. Technology is about the content and not the container. I think every teacher has to look back and see their content, because how in a shortest possible time you're going to deliver the content to the student is very important. There are two things we all are looking at. You all have content. You are teaching for so many years. You're expert in your subject. You're not worried about that. The two things is there. How you can enrich your content when it is on online mode. So how you can use the technology to enrich your content so that the timing is reduced, so that the delivery time is proper, the animation comes, it is very interesting. And second important thing is the engagement. Because the next generation, they will have 100 videos on a similar topic. Why they should come back and watch your video? They need to have very attractive, very good quality video, very contentful video, very systematic video, where students will really gain some knowledge out of it rather than lecturing. See that the students are engaged. So we all at the teaching learning process has to work for all students who are helping us in the teaching learning process, and see that the teaching learning process is very informative and students are really get benefit of. So dear participants, we have gone through few of the slides. I'm aware that this all technology has created some or other stress in our mind, and we are still not sure, but even I am also learning a lot of things using this technology. You can create a PowerPoint video also. You can add voice to that video also. There are a lot of things which are available online. Free tools are available. So I request, I appeal all teachers to prepare some e-content using whatever is available, whatever they're comfortable about. Create that free content, circulate among your existing students, seek their feedback, circulate to your some of your teachers who teach the similar subject, get their feedback and improve. I think we all have to work as a team to see that the higher education doesn't stop. We have to involve students in the process. Do not get worried that technology will replace teachers. No, technology is not going to replace teachers at all. Technology will help us to have more effective teaching. And I request and appeal all teachers that now you can be a global teachers, because there are translators are available nowadays. So your Marathi, your English or your Hindi video can be translated in any other language in the world. You can get feedback. You can have your own college YouTube channel. So try 100 things in next 30, 40 days you have in hand before you go online in the month of August 2020. So no worries. Future is ours. Future is online. Future is technology. How we can use the artificial intelligence and other technology, embedded technology, which is available easy nowadays, and create a good teaching learning environment. Because of the pandemic, we have to be forcefully participating in this online or blended mode. But I think this is the future. You can create your own courses and upload them on Swayam platform or any other online platform. So you have a chance to become a global teacher, and every teacher should strive hard to become a global teacher. I'm very thankful to organizers who have allowed me to share my views on this today's topic. I'm very thankful to all participants who have attentively attended the session which has happened just now. And whatever your feedback is there, you can share with me. But look just to this pandemic as a positive atom. Be technical savvy. Do not be afraid of any technology. You can sample, you can demo, you can create a small video. You can have 5 minutes video on a concept. Create concept video. Cost, accountancy, debit. So many things are there. Marketing, e-marketing, market. You can create 5 minutes video. 2 or 3 teachers in the same subject can come together and create their own content, own videos. So collective teachers should coming together and then doing something good with definitely the future life. So I wish all the teacher all the best for their future endeavors in creating, disseminating e-content. Find out how we can evaluate using, how LMS can help you, how Moodle can help you in developing and disseminating the knowledge in future. So all the best. Do not have worry. You are going to rock in future. And I wish my all teachers of Savitribai Phule University should be a global teacher in days to come. Thank you. Thank you very much.